This is the new single motor version of the Polestar 2. It's the entry level car, and I'm going to find out if it's a little bit like fake tan. Is it a case of less is more? Now to do that, I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm going to launch it to time it from 0 to 60 miles an hour. I'm going to talk you through the differences between this single motor version and the more expensive dual motor version. If you like videos about electric cars, or any cars for that matter, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you will not miss a single upload. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson and you are watching CarWow.
Buying a new car? Then head to CarWow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. CarWow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start this review by talking about the design changes of the single motor version of the Polestar over the dual motor, which I've already reviewed. Here at the back, looks identical. I like the rear end, I like the design of this light, it's really cool, especially when it's illuminated. Down the side, what's different? What's different? Nothing, looks the same. So it's like a hatchback that's slightly jacked up, so kind of like a sort of cross between a hatchback and an SUV. I'm not going to say the word crossover because normal people don't even know what that means. It sounds a bit like cross-dressing. Wheel size starts at 19, goes up to 20s, so big wheels. There is one difference. It's this sticker here, because this sticker denotes the battery capacity and the power output, so that changes with the single motor model. Here at the front, once again, exactly the same as the dual motor. Good looking car, love the headlight design. Now, prices. This car now starts at £40,000 because you can get it with a slightly smaller battery and that single motor. Now, if you want to compare lease deals on the Polestar 2, click on the pop-out banner up there to go to CarWow. While you're there, you can actually check out other deals on other electric cars and just read the reviews and do all that kind of stuff. If you want to do that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me CarWow" and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Now let's talk about charging, batteries and the motor. So this car has a front mounted motor driving the front wheels via a single speed automatic gearbox. You can get two sizes of battery, a 61 kilowatt hour usable battery size and then a 75 kilowatt hour one, which is the same as in the dual motor car. Now that smaller battery can charge at a maximum rate of 116 kilowatts. The larger battery can charge at a maximum rate of 155 kilowatts. In terms of the range they'll give you, the larger battery will give you a range, according to Polestar, of 335 miles. The smaller battery will give you a range of 273 miles. As for the performance, well, for some reason, if you go for the bigger battery, you get a slightly more powerful motor. It has 231 horsepower. The smaller battery comes with a bit less power because it's a bit lighter, so it puts out 224 horsepower. However, both single motor versions of the Polestar 2 have the same top speed and they both do 0 to 60 in the same time as well. Now I'm going to launch this car to see how quick it is a little later on in this video. Before then though, there's some other things we need to look at. Polestar have ever so slightly tweaked the suspension for the single motor version of the Polestar 2. McPherson strut at the front in case you're wondering, and multi-link at the rear in case you're really boring Anaraki kind of person. Other than that, it's exactly the same as a dual motor car. So let's see how it drives. Right, let's try out this Polestar on a twisty road. Now the first thing to note is the car feels quicker when you're actually driving it because of the instant pickup you get from the electric motor, and I really doubt whether many people need to be going quicker than this, especially when you come out of just like a normal car. This electric car will feel extremely responsive. Now in terms of the handling, it goes around corners. Look, it goes around corners. There we go. Absolutely fine. I'm not really feeling anything through the steering. It doesn't feel sporty. It just does the job. And the job that it does, it's fine. It's secure, it's safe, but it's not that much fun. It's quite unusual actually for an electric car that's a single motor to be front wheel drive, especially in this kind of class. And normally rear wheel drive, which does give you a slightly more sporty edge as you're getting pushed out of a corner rather than pulled through it. Now if you want a sportier feeling electric car to drive, I've put a link to one up there, my review of my favourite sporty feeling electric car to drive. Let's quickly talk about the brakes. So you've got 345mm discs here at the front, gripped by twin piston calipers. At the back, you've got 340mm discs with a single piston caliper. But of course, being an electric car, you've also got regen braking. So the motor actually works in reverse and puts the electricity back in the battery, a bit like a dynamo. Electricity, regen. Anyway, let's just do a brake test. Got it at 60. Let's see what it'll stop in. Here we go. Braking time now. Oh. Felt good to me. 31 meters. One of the good things about this single motor version of the Polestar 2 is that the inside is the same as the more expensive dual motor version. I really do like the design, the texture on the dash, the quality feel, the layout with this huge center console separating you from your passenger so it feels a bit sporty, nice design touches like the gear selector shape with a Polestar light there and a Polestar light there that reflects in the optional glass roof. The infotainment system's easy to use and it uses Android Auto, so it's super simple. You've got a very functional digital driver's display, not the most beautiful to look at, but it does its job nicely. Plenty of storage here, cup holders here, cup holders there, decent sized glove box. And the driving position is nice because this car is a little bit higher than a normal hatchback, and if you jack the seat all the way up, you really do get a good view over the bonnet. It's almost like you're in an SUV. However, if you want more of an SUV experience, you need to check out the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And if you click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description, you can watch my full in-depth video review of that car. Now let's see what this Polestar 2 is like to drive in town. So I'm actually going to put the drive mode into standard one pedal drive. I like to have creep off though, don't like it creeping forward. And then you can completely control it on the accelerator pedal. Lift off and it'll brake and bring you to a stop. It just makes it easy to control. You don't actually have to touch the brake unless there's an emergency stop, and it blends it all together quite nice. It just feels natural. The light steering works here. Let's go super light, there we are. Good in town, that is. In terms of the suspension over bumps, it's all right. You know, it's relatively comfortable. I drove the Polestar 2 ages ago, in-depth review on the dual motor version, and that had the performance pack with Öhlins coilover suspension, and that was just too firm. This one is fine, much prefer this. Do not get that performance pack regardless of which Polestar you go for. As for the turning circle, here we go. Look at that, that's me lifting off with one pedal drive, just slows it right down. Look at that, 11.5 metres. Yeah, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Have you ever heard that in a car review before? So very professional, Matthew, well done. Let's talk about practicality in this car. Plenty of room in the back seats. The only minor issue is that headroom is a little bit restricted, but most people will be fine. If you've got a little baby, you need to carry a baby seat, well, bit annoying that you have to flip off the ISOFIX anchor covers, but once you've done that, it's easy to get the seat into place, and there is enough room for a rear-facing seat in this car without having to move the front passenger seat forward. Minor issues, the doors don't open all that wide, so you end up kind of like having to work the seat in a little bit. It is slightly easier to get a baby seat in the back for Volkswagen ID3, which is similar in size in the back and quite a bit cheaper. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there to go check it out. Here on the motorway, the Polestar is relaxing enough. I'm appreciating the slightly raised driving position out here, and a bit of a better view over some of the cars. Bit of wind noise, bit of tyre noise, but they're more noticeable because there's no engine droning away. It's perfectly adequate in terms of the sound insulation, and the seats are comfy, supportive. I'm happy in this thing. Yeah, check out the acceleration now, because obviously if you need to suddenly overtake, let's say you're doing 60 and you want to overtake someone, yeah, there's enough punch, get you up to speed, that's all fine. You got to really question whether you need the more powerful car. I'm fine with this car. More than happily do lots of miles in it. Now it's time to look at 5 annoying things about this car. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the performance pack upgrade on the Polestar 2 because it does make the ride a little bit too firm. However, you may want it. Unfortunately, you cannot get it at all on the single motor version, which means you won't be able to get those lovely yellow seat belts. Even with a single motor and the smallest battery, this Polestar 2 still weighs in at 1940 kilos, which is almost 250 kilos heavier than a Tesla Model 3, and it's quite a lot really for a car of this size. This car doesn't get automatic cruise control as standard, you know, the thing where it'll steer to keep you in lane and use a radar to keep you a safe distance from the car in front. If you want that, it's part of a £3,000 option pack. This car isn't fitted with it, yet bizarrely, it still has the buttons for the distance control for the automatic cruise radar system. Just so you can pretend that you've got it. Polestar is supposed to be a premium brand, but their key fob is anything but. In fact, it feels cheaper than the kind of toys you get in a cereal packet. I told them about this about a year ago when I reviewed the dual motor car, and they still haven't got round to sorting it out. Guys, you need to listen to me. Oops, it's broken. While Polestar may have removed a motor from the rear axle, they haven't made any use of that freed up space, because the boot capacity, while acceptable and the boot being practical with some storage area in here, it's the exact same capacity as the dual motor car, 405 litres. Seems like a wasted opportunity. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. Unlike most other front-wheel drive electric cars, this one does have some space underneath the bonnet for storing your cables. In fact, the capacity is 35 litres, in case you're wondering. To be fair though, the dual motor version also has this storage area. Think you might get a bit bored while you're waiting for your Polestar 2 to charge? Don't worry, the car now comes with a space warp, space invade again. Look at this, way. You're shooting polluters. Oh my God, it's topical as well. Yay, I'm having so much fun. Yay. Even though the single motor version of the Polestar 2 has 180 less horsepower than the dual motor, the towing capability is just the same, 1,500 kilos. Though I don't know why I'm pushing rather than being towed. Ribbit, that's me being a toad. The introduction of this single motor model with the smaller battery means that you can get a Polestar 2 for £6,000 less than you used to be able to. And if you're looking at a lease deal, that'll save you about 70 quid a month, which you could spend on a premium gym membership. The seat coverings used in this car have won an award from Peter. We're not talking about old Peter from down the pub who thinks he knows everything. No, from PETA, the animal activists, because their production process is less harmful to creatures than other car seats, apparently. This Polestar is supposed to do 0-60 in 7.2 seconds, but let's see what it will really do. I've got my specialist timing gear here. I'm just going to launch it. Very steady, smooth, undramatic takeoff. But what will the time be? 7.29? It's all right. So then, what's my final verdict on the single motor version of the Polestar 2? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist it. In fact, I think the single motor version with a smaller battery is the pick of the Polestar 2 range. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Let me know some other videos you'd like to see in the comments below. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and if you click on that box there, you can go to my version of my OnlyFans page.